What's up guys, Will here with Renthusiast, my YouTube channel that is all about Porsche ownership, and in today's video we're going to be talking seats. I don't know about you, but I love custom seats, a custom steering wheel, and killer wheels on 911s, and I've done that to all of my cars, and I'm in the process of doing it to my ice green metallic 1976 911S. So if you guys have been hanging around, you know I picked that car up a couple months back, and I've been having fun with it. I have not covered it as much recently, but I'm going to bring it back today. So I've done the wheels on that car, I've done the steering wheel on that car, and I'll reveal all that to you guys later, but today we're going to be talking about the seats. The car came with Porsche factory sports seats that are done up in some upholstery and some tartan that I really like. So you may be wondering, why in the world are you going to swap those out? Those are very special seats. Well, I'm going to tell you today why I'm going to be doing that. So we're going to go down to the shop in Charlotte, North Carolina that I'm going to use to do the seats, and so I'll take you guys through the selection process and you'll learn a little bit about how that'll work. Before I jump into that though, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel. This is the kind of thing I do, my own personal ownership experience, as well as interviewing owners, covering events, and whatever else these cars throw at me. So if that's your thing, click the subscribe button, hit that bell too so you're notified when I publish new content. Also like to invite you to come check out our Facebook group, Renthusiast Air-Cooled Porsche Fans. That group has a lot of great energy in it, a lot of interaction. So if you're on Facebook, come check us out. Let's jump into the main content. I thought what might help make this project, make this video, make a little more sense was to let you guys see what we're actually working on here. This is my 76 911. And as you can see, this car features factory sports seats. I've done a couple of videos on this car. I'll put a card up to those videos, or at least to the playlist at the end of this video. But this is a 1976 Porsche 911S. It's got a 3.2 motor in it, and it's got factory sports seats that the previous owner had redone in this particular material. So it's a vinyl, I believe, with these really killer tartan centers. And so my problem with these seats is not how they look, or not, you know, I love that they're special and unique to the car. They came with the car as shown on the window sticker, but the problem I have with them is the seating position has you up too high. So I like sitting a little bit lower, especially when I'm driving in a spirited fashion. And I have a lot of experience doing so with these Recaro experts. So I had these in my 1986 911 that I have since sold. I did pull the seats out in order to sell the car, and I do know that the seating position on these seats is low. It's nice. They're very comfortable for like a full weekend in the car. So the idea here is I'm going to match this pattern, this look, in these seats. And of course, yes, I do have two of these Recaros. So I was able to source this tartan from a company called the Scottish Weaver. I think it was technically discontinued, or it was difficult to get. I picked up 4 yards, and it is 16 ounce, I believe, which is a car upholstery grade. So in today's video, I'm going to take you guys with me to a place called Sonderwerks in Charlotte, North Carolina. These guys do seats, and I thought I'd give you some footage of the selection of the leather to match that brown, that process, while I'm down there. I know that most Porsche guys are seat maniacs, so this should be an interesting trip. All right, guys, here I am at Sonderwerks in Charlotte, North Carolina, and this is Dave Van Epps, the owner.
Hello, Will.
And as you guys can see here, they clearly have a proficiency with interiors. So as I just shared with you, the objective here is to get this Recaro as closely matched to this factory sports seat as possible. And before I turn this over to Dave to talk about the process, the challenge we have here is, just for the sake of getting a visual here, that is the cork that looks, this is the cork that matches my door cards, for example. So we're trying to get this seat, the leather we choose for this seat, to be as close as possible to this cork. So we're going to do the best we can, and with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Dave.
Okay, great. So as you were just saying, because the cork, the original cork vinyl that's in your car, has a kind of mottled appearance. There's a grain that's part of that vinyl and so on. It's multicolored. You can see you've got lighter, you've got dark. We want to go leather on these seats. We're not going to do these in vinyl. So we've actually got to kind of try to match or come up with some compromise. And when you look at what was on the car right now, it's a little bit more yellow than it is orange.
Right, and the previous owner shared that, like, he got it as close as he could. So when he redid these seats, he also did the dash. And so the dash matches the seat, which doesn't exactly match the cork. So there lies the conundrum.
But pick this up over here too, because what you're going to see that between the time that he did these, take a look at these two side bolsters, the difference in the color between this one, which was obviously in the sun more, and this one.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Okay.
So you can see that this color has got more orange to it. This is a bit more faded. So we're going to try to pick up something that's a combination of all of these. And we've done a little looking here. Now we're going back to leather. So we're going to probably not do a weathered leather. We want something that's a Napa, a smooth leather. Oops, let's get this back up here. And so we've looked at a few things already, and different manufacturers kind of have different looks and different color schemes and different patterns, and the hides of the leather matter. So when we look at something, I'll just pull out of this book right here, and we'll put this up here. So these are leathers that were kind of already pre-matched for Porsches from one of the vendors that we work with. And you can see there's the cork vinyl, and then here is their cork leather. So they're taking kind of the darker skew out of some of these other things. And when we kind of pull that out, and I have a hide of it here. What did we just do? There you go. I'm looking for that piece right there. So when we look at, this is a hide of this leather that we have here. And that's kind of the match. It's a little slight variations between the sample and the actual hide, and that kind of does happen. So you have to try to consider that too as you're matching something. But when we look at this particular leather against the seat, it's a pretty good match as far as a leather against a vinyl. And again, picking up all these colors and trying to tie it all together. I mean, you can see that it's not an easy task, because there's different color schemes. Like this one's more orange and probably picks up more of the orange here. This one's got a little bit more brown to it. But when it's all said and done, we will find the hides, and then I'll show you a hide in a minute too. So you can just see how kind of the raw hides come in and how we map it all out and make the patterns.
So thankfully, as I touched on earlier, guys, I do have 4 yards of this, so that's knocked out. We know that's a guaranteed match. Yep. And I think we're making some headway here.
Yeah, let's take a look at how we do the cutouts and whatnot. So here, this is Ernest, by the way.
Ernest.
This would be kind of a hide. So this happens to be a half a hide of leather that we've actually had for another set of seats. These are going to a 928 actually. So this is perf to match the perf that would have been on those seats. And so you're taking the full hide, and this is just the way you'd get it off the cow here. They run it through a machine to perf it, and then we'd have patterns for these that are ID'd based on what part the seat is. And Ernest or Bruce or Shell will lay them out here on the hide itself, and then they'll trace them out, cut them out, and then mark them where the darts are here, the arrows effectively. And this is showing you how those seats, those pieces go together based on where those notches are in the seat.
So in the case of my Recaros, you guys will pull that seat apart to create the pattern, and
Correct.
then you'll match that on the appropriate material.
Correct. So that'll get deconstructed. We have patterns for this already, so we may or may not have to deconstruct your seat, but it'll have a pattern to it that we will then cut out and then sew together. Now Bruce is over here. He's working on another set. These are going, this is a similar style. That actually happens to be a Volkswagen Tartan that we're working on there. But he's putting the pleats down the center of that pattern, or excuse me, that panel, and then that'll get sewn into the seat to get all the pieces together. So in this case, there's the headrest. That's the original Porsche headrest, and here's a replacement that Bruce has cut out of new black material, black leather in this case, and that'll combine with this insert, and that'll be the insert for these particular seats.
So now you got all your hides over there too, right?
Yep, so you got all hides of leather. Well, yeah, come on over here, let's take a look at. So this is actually that particular color that we'd be looking at for your set of seats.
So this would be mine right here.
This would be, yeah, this is a couple of rolls right here of this material in that cork sort of color. And then if we needed to, yours we're not going to need to, but we can get that same material perforated.
Okay, cool. So this is the exact same,
Exactly.
just a different finish.
It's just this one is run through the perf machine to give it that ventilation or that perforated look. And then two of those go together. This ends up the insert, and then it ends up as the exterior. And there's all kinds of different colors, as you can see. So burgundies and blacks and blues, and there's a set of cork seats that we're going to do as well.
A lot to keep up with, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Try to keep all the fabrics and organized kind of by color, by the type of car that we're doing, and we obviously do a lot. We specialize, all we do is Porsche interiors, so that's all of the cars that we're doing. This particular burgundy car right here, this one is getting those seats that we were just talking about with Bruce. One of them is already done and in the car, covered up, ready to go, but this interior is getting a refurbishment. It was worn out, but it's going to look great when it's all done.
Well, my carpet in my 76 is a little tired. I gave some thought to tacking that, but I think I'll start with the seats, man.
We can tackle that later. We can tackle that later because we get the carpet as well.
All right, so I think, guys, what we're going to do is we're going to likely go with this option for all of the outside, the headrest. Right, Dave, and then this entire center,
correct,
is going to
will be the tartan.
And one thing is we're trying to decide whether or not we want to retain that Recaro embroidery or not, and I haven't yet really thought through how I want that to appear.
Yeah, normally on this style seat, if we were going to do this kind of the way the factory does this expert seat, is this section here would end up being in the leather, and then this would be retained. We'd re-embroider the Recaro in it. And then the upper section is going to be tartan, and the lower section and everything down here would be tartan. The question is just a personal preference thing, because we can do the entire seat in the tartan and eliminate the logo. We can embroider the logo into the tartan, maybe come up with a badge or something like that. It's all personal preference, and that's the beauty of doing custom interiors in hot rod Porsches, is that there's lots of options. Everybody personalizes it the way they want. There's no really right or wrong answer. It's what your personal taste is. So I think these are going to look great in the car.
Awesome, man. Well, Dave, thank you for your help with this. And we'll do a second video, guys, once we have the seats finished. It'll kind of be a grand reveal, and then I'll also incorporate putting them in the car and giving you guys footage of that. So appreciate you sticking around. Hope to see you next time.